Welcome to the Reverberations podcast. I'm your host, John Stewart. Here we'll ask the questions that matter most. How do we build a future where people and planet thrive together? We'll go beyond the noise to explore real solutions grounded in ethics, shared values, and collective responsibility. Because the future isn't something that happens to us, it's something we co-create. And we are better together. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Reverberations. This is your host, John Stewart. Today, I want to open a conversation that's been living within me for a really long time. It's rooted in my personal journey, my academic work, and what's been knocking on the temples of my awareness throughout my life. Sometimes gently, other times, not so much. This isn't an episode about answers. It's an episode about naming something that many of us feel, though rarely slow down long enough to articulate. There's a question beneath almost every single problem that we face as a society. What do people need to feel supported, to feel valued, a sense of belonging, and to truly prosper? Not just survive, not just participate, to prosper, to be seen, to feel capable, to feel connected to something that encouraged that capacity to grow. And then there's the larger question that follows. What would our systems look like if that was their purpose? Not control, not extraction, not endless optimization, but to advocate for, to fortify, sustain human dignity and ecological reverence. That's what we're exploring together this season. Though before we get there, we have to name where we are. And many of us feel it. There's a subtle tension. Despite technological advancement, despite economic growth, despite being constantly online, something feels off. People are doing more, producing more, accomplishing more. And yet, we're more anxious, more isolated, more polarized, more disconnected. People trust institutions less than they used to. Relationships feel more fragile. Community feels harder to sustain, to become involved, to participate. And this isn't just anecdotal. In 2023, the U.S. Surgeon General declared loneliness a public health epidemic. Not sadness, not depression, not anxiety, loneliness, which the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, defines as feeling like you don't have meaningful or close relationships or a sense of belonging. Roughly 1 in 3 adults report feeling lonely. Nearly 20% feel lonely often or daily. The rates are even higher among young adults, LGBTQ plus communities, lower income groups. Let that land. 1 in 3 adults report feeling lonely. The rates are even higher amongst our youth. We've poured billions into infrastructure, technology, and economic expansion. And loneliness is rising. Anxiety is rising. Distrust is rising. So we have to ask ourselves, what kind of progress is this? Now, here's something I want to say clearly. You can expand an economy without ever expanding human possibility. You can modernize a country and still leave people feeling unseen, unheard, and unmet. You can build systems that succeed on paper and fail people in real life. And when that happens, we're not just dealing with policy failure. We're dealing with a dignity failure. Though we don't often name it that way. Because dignity feels abstract. It's hard to measure. It's hard to legislate. So instead we talk about productivity, efficiency, and growth. And maybe dignity, with a hope and a prayer, somehow catches up later. It doesn't. Now, I want to pause here and be very clear. This podcast is not about blame. It's not about pointing fingers at governments, corporations, or institutions as if they're separate from us. Systems don't exist outside of people. They are built, maintained, reinforced, and normalized by human beings, including us, including me, including you. That's why this season is an invitation, not to carry guilt, but to step into awareness, to own our role, and to open the door to possibility. This season, I want to share a framework I've been developing. It's called Integrated Systems Theory, a dignity-led opportunity framework. It's not abstract or academic for its own sake. It's a way of seeing how systems either support dignity, belonging, and possibility, or gradually take them away. We're going to start where it all begins, within the individual human being. And then we'll move outward into how we relate to one another, how we care, work, learn, and make meaning, how decisions get made, how we honor the planet and the future generations we depend on. We're not starting with systems. We're starting with lived experience. Because when we leave people out, it becomes business as usual, and we end up repeating the same mistakes, just dressed up with more polished language. If you're listening to this and thinking, yeah, something is off, you're not imagining it, and you're not alone. What you're sensing is a misalignment between the systems we have built and the human beings we actually are. Before we can redesign systems, we have to be honest about what it feels like to live inside them, to be a part of them. This is where the journey begins, not with a framework, not with solutions, but with honesty and the willingness and the courage to put everything on the table. All of us, each and every single one of us, including me and you. In this next episode, we're going to ask a foundational question. Who and what is development actually for? And how did we come to measure progress in ways that so often leave our humanity behind? For now, I'll leave you with this reflection. If development doesn't account for and actively restore dignity and belonging, then we have to ask ourselves, what exactly are we developing? Thank you for listening. Thank you for slowing down. And thank you for being part of a conversation that truly matters to each and every single one of us and the planet that we live upon. And please do me a favor. If this podcast lands for you, hit like, hit subscribe. It's these little things that allow this podcast to continue to grow and have a greater reach. It means a lot, and it is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. And remember, we are better together.
The earth is quiet, the ground is near, a soft hum whispers, nothing to fear. I breathe in slow, let it settle here. Grounded in here, grounded and still. The world is soft, it bends to my will. Grounded in here, grounded and still. Clouds drift steady, they never rush. A gentle weight, a velvet hush. Time unravels, no need to push. Grounded in here, grounded holds me, the calm feels right. I close my eyes but see the light. Grounded in here, grounded and still, the world